Welcome back into a kinder, gentler Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas here, the Kasey Hudson.
What would you guys do without me, honestly? Sorry, John. I just have to, be the mediator. Thank God I did it in grade school because I feel like I have to do it
That's
here.
why they have you technically sitting in between us.
Yeah.
You know, a little more towards my side, the better side.
Well,
but
that's because I have to make the stern eye contact on that side of the table.
Exactly.
It's okay.
You know, hot trash.
It won't shock anyone that I grew up in the principal's office. Like, I literally every day was in the principal's office. It is what it is. Jon Lyons, WEEI's prodigal son, I call him, the New England Football Journal as well, host of Welcome, Sir. How about these red-hot Patriots?
Yeah, it's been great to see, right? You know, now that we're talking about a team, you and I, and we were here in August, we were talking about, hey, can they win 9 games? Can they be a contender in the AFC East? They might have 9 wins by Friday morning.
Bro.
I mean, really, it's unbelievable how quickly they've gotten this thing going. And I know the schedule's been easy. I get it. And they've had some good luck. But they didn't have a really difficult schedule last year, and they won 4 games.
Good point.
Now they might have 9 wins by Friday morning.
Is it the combo of Vrabel and Drake? Like, talk to me. Why are we'll work backwards and get into the minutia, but give me big picture here, macro. What the hell's working? Is this team a legit Super Bowl contender?
So I don't know if I would go as far as to say Super Bowl contender. I think they're in the neighborhood now, though, of the top 6 or 7 teams in the NFL. And the reason I won't say Super Bowl contender, you look at a team like the Eagles, the Rams, teams they could play down, and even the Chargers, the Chiefs, and I know the Chiefs have stumbled a little bit recently, but the depth those teams have that the Patriots don't have. And that's something that the 3 of us talked about on the show in August. The Patriots have a lot of quality starters. They don't have a lot of depth, though. If they have any sort of injury, we saw even the first few weeks of the year, their pass defense without Christian Gonzalez, and I know he's a great player. And you think about this team that, God forbid, they lose a Hunter Henry or a Robert Spillane or one of those offensive linemen that have played essentially the whole year together.
Will Campbell.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's where that's where a lot of these other teams, though, I think separate themselves. Like last night, the Eagles lose Lane Johnson for most of that game. And I know it's a low-scoring defensive struggle, but they're still able to win, right?
Sure.
So I think that's where those teams separate from the Patriots. But the Patriots, to me, firmly in that neighborhood, right? They're not just a good team. Now we can talk about them. Hey, are they a top 5 team?
Sure.
Are they a top 6 team? And who knows, if a month from now they have 3 or 4 more wins, maybe we will talk about them as a top 2 or 3
It's
team.
funny, John, they could have got depth at the trade deadline, but they didn't do it.
Okay, so I knew he was going to go there. Let's go from macro to micro for just a second, because one of the things that was hyperbole was adding to the wide receiving room.
Yeah.
I was on the side of I didn't think that a move needed to be made. I didn't think that they needed to be aggressive in this sense because I felt like it would almost go against the grain of develop the young guys you have. I mean, this almost felt like there was, I know saying talent is going to be crucified for a degree, but there was a conversation of almost being too much talent, an oversaturated wide receiving room. It's just the fact that of the balance of veterans to rookies that were in the mix. So does this speak to the fact that they want to make sure that they develop properly? Because you hinder development when you bring in too many bodies for one, especially too many veterans that need to make a case, that are pivotal points of their career, and then these younger guys or Kyle Williams don't get their opportunities for 2 and 3 years out, and it kind of diffuses what their potential could be. So I was on the side of don't do too much of the trade deadline, but I know that a lot of people are probably going to be piping on about it now if they continue to get closer and closer to the Super Bowl conversation.
Yeah, who would have thought we'd be worried about an injury to Kayshon Boutte at some point this season?
Freaked out,
That's how good he's been. And to your point, last year the Patriots had the worst receiver room in the NFL, maybe 31st, it's bottom of the league, and the year before as well. Now, I'm not telling you they're an elite receiver room, but they're a heck of a lot better as we've seen, and they complement each other so well. Kayshon Boutte's been a deep threat. We've seen Mac Hollins do that. Mac Hollins also has a size element no one else has. Kyle Williams, look, it was one play, so before we get ahead of ourselves, but that's a speed element no one else has. Stephon Diggs is a legit veteran.
There were flashes in training camp.
And there were.
Talking.
And Demario Douglas, I don't think any of us foresaw him becoming a deep threat, but suddenly he has been. But he also brings a quickness element that a lot of the other guys don't have. So they complement each other really well. Now, looking forward, and this is obviously a conversation when I come on the show in March and April, they are a top-end receiver short, I feel like.
Yeah.
And the name A.J. Brown's been floated out there. Like a guy like that, or even a tight end, because Hunter Henry's a very good player.
Right.
But I don't think they have a guy.
A real dynamic tight end.
Right. I don't think they have a guy in their passing game right now that's truly a A-plus type player. They have a lot of B players, maybe some, and Stephon Diggs, I think, has been an A-minus player, and Kayshon Boutte's been an A-minus player. But I think that's where they're a little bit short. But I don't think you're going to get a guy like that at the trade deadline. I mean, are you going to get a top-end tight end end a receiver. I just don't see that as something that would have happened at the trade deadline. So I think the receiver room, as long as Kayshon Boutte comes back healthy, I think is in a good enough place to be a really good competitive team.
One of the names that was floated at the deadline who never got moved, but everyone else on the Jets did except him and Breece Hall, was Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is out on Thursday. Short week here for the Pats, taking on the Jets. Let's break that game down. What are you expecting to see?
Yeah, the Jets are a really not just bad team, but they're a really weird team. In that you look at these games that they've won, so they beat Cincinnati 39-38. They're scoring left and right. Then they play Cleveland, a much better defense, and they can't score. I mean, two of the Jets' touchdowns in that game, they had a kickoff return touchdown and a punt return touchdown on back-to-back possessions.
That's crazy.
But one thing that is worth noticing, Breece Hall did have the 42-yard touchdown catch and run on the screen pass, so they did hit a big play. And the Jets, I don't want to say the whole game's going to come down to special teams, but you have to be careful. They're top 6 in the league in kickoff return average and punt return average.
Okay.
So got to be careful on special teams against them. But to me, Thursday night is more about the Patriots than anything else, right? Because after they beat the Bills, and I came on this show after the Saints game, and I told you guys that I thought that win was just as important as the Bills game because they had a good win, but they followed it up this time with beating a team they should beat. So they just had a good win. Patriots beat the Buccaneers on the road, arguably their best win of the season. Do they follow it up by beating a team they should beat, or do they have a letdown Thursday night at home short week? I think that game Thursday night is much more about the Patriots, their focus level, their intensity level, than it is going to be the Jets, especially post-trade deadline with the guys at Jets.
Are you going to the game?
I am not. Unless you want to buy me some tickets.
I don't know. I mean, I might. I've been thinking about maybe making an appearance. I have to be here the next morning early. So if I go, I'm just going first half.
But we have to do that a lot.
I know.
We have to make a lot of those sacrifices.
And by the way, I say I'll just be there for the first half,
There's
and then
no
the
way.
beers will start.
Yeah,
and
you'll
I'm
end
like,
up
you know
there,
what?
fourth
Next thing you
quarter.
know, the shirt's off. Go Pats!
Well, of course, I've gone to one game this year, and it was raining, and they lost to the Raiders. So, you know, maybe it's better.
First game.
Yeah, so maybe it's better I don't go.
No, don't go.
Yeah, it's
for
better.
now-
Stay your butt on the couch.
It's better I don't go.
For now. You're speaking of the ways that the Jets can be surprising, and you do mention the fact that like there's no throwaway games, especially for this team who we're still trying to figure out like where their peak may be in this season. Outside of the challenges that you mentioned, what do you want to see out of this Patriots team having their defense stepped up tremendously versus a really good team? I mean, there were so many plays that really just spoke to them kind of being a pillar for them, and I know that that's kind of where we felt the lack of depth a little bit more, in my personal opinion.
I want to see Thursday night, can the offense play a fully clean game, right? Because they've won 7 games in a row. The first 4 games, Drake May had 0 interceptions, but the last 3 he's thrown an interception in each game, including one in the end zone against Tampa Bay. And we saw Travion Henderson have those 2 explosive runs. Those were awesome, the 55-yarder, the 69-yarder. But there are a lot of runs that were stuffed or no gain, or they didn't really get any progress on it. Can they play consistently throughout 60 minutes on offense, a full game with not only no turnovers, but they're not relying on the explosive plays? Because, look, the Patriots scored 3 touchdowns of over 50 yards in that game against the Bucs. And that's awesome, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm not saying not to do that, but you can't rely on that every week, right? So can they have a drive that is 10 plays, 12 plays? Can they do that more than once? And sure, throw in a 50-yard touchdown, but can they have 2, 3, 4 drives that they march the ball down the field? Because as you go forward this season, this schedule is going to be tougher than I think people realize, with Joe Burrow maybe coming back in Cincinnati. Baltimore looks like they figured it out. Who knows what the Giants are going to look like with a new head coach? They're at least going to be a tough out, I think, in that game. And Miami, you can't overlook. Buffalo just found that out on Sunday. So I think, can they play 60 minutes of a clean game and use that as a springboard kind of going forward?
Yeah. Is there concerns that may start to rise as the season goes along with how often Drake May is getting sacked?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I would say not just the hits he's taking, Kasey, when he's getting sacked, but when he's running and some of the hits he's taking in the open field. We saw last year when he got the concussion against the Jets and had to come out of that game. It was an open field scramble that he got hit on, that he got the concussion. So Drake May, he's the most important guy there right now. And no offense to Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, anyone else, Stephon Diggs.
He's executing.
And his step forward this year is the biggest reason they're 8-2.
Absolutely.
But you got to keep him healthy. And he's stronger than he was a year ago. I think he's added more muscle to his frame, but he's still 23 years old. And he's still, this young player figuring things out. Their offensive line It's a lot better than it was a year ago, but we're not talking about an elite unit.
Sure.
Same thing with the receivers. You have an injury at running back to Rhamondre Stevenson, who is your best pass-blocking running back. So I wouldn't be shocked if this game Thursday night, Kasey, and even going forward, guys, we see more quick passes, right? Getting the ball. Even the Kyle Williams touchdown, that was an intermediate throw that he just ran for 40 more yards.
Right.
So, look, the Mac Hollins play, that was 50 yards in the air, sure, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see a lot more short and intermediate throws, and they'll take some deep shots still, but that's another way that maybe they'll try to protect him because, again, you need this guy healthy for January if you're going to make noise in the playoffs.
Well, not just that. You have to take what the defense gives you. At some point, defenses are going to say, these guys are coming up with these big splash plays. We got to take them away. And then it's going to be on Drake to be patient. I love that he's a gunslinger. But sometimes it's death by 1,000 cuts. If they're going to give you the short to intermediate passing game, take it, okay? Now, I want to ask you about this because you brought up Rhamondre. And you know what? It turns out you were right, Jon Lyons. I've been saying get rid of the guy. He has fumbleitis. You can't trust him. We had a call, 617-790-0928. Call us if you agree with this caller or me. But this caller basically said, I'm a moron for wanting to get rid of Rhamondre. You told me to relax on it. The caller agrees. Take a listen.
My comment is for Travis. Rhamondre Stevenson is an excellent running back. He's a bull and he's fast. You're throwing him away, relying on this guy over some bursts of speed, okay? I mean, let's acknowledge the fumbles, but I would not cast Rhamondre aside as if there's no need for him on this team. I think that's BS. He's got plenty of talent. Once he starts wrapping both hands around the ball, he's going to be fine. You're going to be thankful that we have him. Who's your backup after Travion Henderson? Answer me that.
Well, you got me there, buddy. But I'll tell you one damn thing. Excellent running back? Really? Is he? He's an excellent running back? And then we just gloss over. Yeah, sure, he has a fumbling issue. Yeah, we're going to gloss over that? Really? Jon Lyons, you were the one who told me I was out of pocket for this. The floor is yours.
Yeah, and I think with Rhamondre Stevenson, before he got hurt those last couple games, he did look a lot better. And one of the big reasons, he wasn't fumbling the ball, right? And he was running harder. But I think we saw, even in those games that Stevenson had fumbling issues, they still brought him on the field in passing situations just to block. And I think that value is going to be huge going forward, as you just kind of talked about with Drake May getting hit a lot. So, look, I think Stevenson, you always have to worry about the fumbles, but they're going to be at their best when he's healthy and he's running hard and he's complimenting Travion Henderson. Because when you get the big plays out of Travion Henderson like you saw against Tampa Bay, and then the good pass blocking and the more consistent 6-7 hard runs from Rhamondre Stevenson, that's when I think their backfield's going to be at its best. And Terrell Jennings has been okay as kind of a rotational
He's hurt
guy,
now.
but they're at their best if they have those two guys healthy, complementing each other.
Whatever.
Pick your poison.
Whatever. 11, 12, or 13 wins for this Patriot team.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I came on the show in August and I said 9, and we might have 9 Friday, but I'm looking right now minimum 11, and I'm leaning 12. And I look forward. I think you should beat the Jets twice. You should beat Miami. That's 11 right there. Then do you beat the Giants? That's 12. So then what? Even if you lose to Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Buffalo, you're still at 12. And again, I don't want to lose to those teams, but I think right now I'm at 11 minimum, and I could really see 12.
Hey, the road to the Super Bowl might go through
Foxborough.
It may come through Foxborough. Hey, the party continues over on Nessa Nation. Rock with us. Boston has entered the chat. We ain't finished. Jon Lyons, we appreciate you always,
a
my
pleasure.
brother. My man. See you on Nessa Nation. Roll with us.
I can't do